Hello to you. So a few weeks ago I was talking to you guys, to people in Ballymahan Library, about some of my favourite books and what writing means to me, both writing and reading. But I never read a piece of my own book. So my latest book is that. It's 32 words for fields. Now, I've written a rake of books, and a lot of them will be in the library. So, at least the library system. And the great thing about Ballymahan Library is one can get books from any other library. So I have a book, Truck Fever, about my time in Africa. I have another book, Angels and Rabies, about my time in South America and North America. I have a book, Manchán's Travels, about my time in India. That's a very rare book to get. I sell some of the other copies, but this one there's very few left. These books are all out of print. And then Lawer Oscailga, Monachane Shachran, my time in Africa again, with an Irish book. And I also have a book about, can't find it here though, about my time in India in Irish. But anyway, what I want to do is read a little bit from this book, from 32 Words for Field, which came out in about September of 2020. I'm going to read about comets and constellations. Contortions as well. Contortions, comets, and constellations. Search for the English words contortion or distorting in an Irish dictionary, and you'll get riastra. Fuim riastra refers to distorted sound in broadcasting. Ceol, ceoli achtas riastra, music that is cosy but nicely distorted. It's how this is how the techno-funk album Throwback by the Berlin-based DJ and record producer Glenn Astro is described in the online journal Nos, while the desert blues music of Tiraniruan is categorised as Fuim Prauncoch Riastra, contorted sound. Riastra, though, means these things only in a metaphorical way. Its real meaning is as a descriptive term for the battle spasms of Cuchulainn, the mythical hero of the Ulster cycle sagas. When confronted with a seemingly unbeatable obstacle, his body metamorphosizes into outlandish convulsions, like the battle frenzies that strike Norse warriors, and a few other Irish heroes whose bones were said to twist behind and before them, allowing them to attack on all sides at once. Yet Cuchulainn, that reminds me of those new Japanese action movies where they speed up high-tech movies and they have the person battling on all sides of them. Cuchulainn was doing it long ago and he called it riastra. Yet Cuchulainn's riastra was more intense than any normal frenzy. The frontal sinews of his head were dragged to the back of his neck, where they showed in lumps bigger than the head of a man-child aged 1 month. That's a quote from the Táin Bó Cúailnge. The cattle raid of Cooley, as translated by Eleanor Hull in 1898. It goes on, one eye became engulfed in his head so far that 'tis a question whether a wild heron could have got it out where it lay against his occiput, which is the hole, I think, is around his eye, to drag it out upon the surface of his cheek. The other eye, on the contrary, protruded suddenly, and it itself so rested upon the cheek. It reads like something out of a more drug-inspired passages of William S. Burroughs or Irvin Welsh. And this may not be actually coincidence. Some academics argue that the fly agaric mushroom played a crucial role in inducing the riastra, this contortion or convulsions. It offered a dependable way of channeling the mindless fury of the deities of war, of Morrigan, Bob and Neman, through a hallucinogenic trance. Certain passages in the Táin describe Cuchulainn's mouth as twisting up to his ears, while his heart beats like the howl of a band dog doing his office, or of a lion in the act of charging bears. It does seem as if something beyond mere battle drama is being conveyed here. According to the scholar Dahi O'Hogan, the riastra is a remnant of an enigmatic process that warriors underwent to access inspiration and strength. Here, I'll read you a different bit instead. It'd be wrong to overemphasise the similarity between Aboriginal Australian songlines and Din Shanachas, but the former can help cast some light on the latter. In that an Indigenous Australian with knowledge of his songs and of the appropriate sequence in which they could be sung can navigate vast distances, even across the most inhospitable deserts. Some songlines are short, while others are unimaginably long. But if you know how to decipher them, they will reveal the landscape around you, offering information about the myriad species of animals and plants, including the characteristics and behaviour throughout the seasons and through different weather patterns. What songlines amount to is ultimately a functioning map of a location that can help steer the singer between waterholes, landmarks and other natural phenomena. Often it is the signs left behind by the Creator on the land when the physical world was fleshed into existence that are highlighted in the songs. So that one finds evidence of the formation of islands, rising sea levels and other ancient landscape changes recorded within the words. Similarly, many of Ireland's Din Shanachas tales, and you know the Din Shanachas is the collection of place name lore in early Irish oral and then written literature. Din Shanachas tales arose from marks or rock formations left by ice sheets, post-glacial floods or Neolithic inscriptions, etched in stone up to 8,000 years ago by the first settlers. And just as the Din Shanachas contains information beyond the mere alphabetical symbols of the words, songlines too must be comprehensible and beyond the initial meaning of the words, as they span the lands of tribal groups that speak different languages and have varying cultural traditions. They are therefore created so that the most important information is communicated through the sound and the melody. Their rhythms echo the contours of the land, and their beats mark out the footsteps of the ancestors so that they transcend the limitations of conventional language. The idea of binding memory and information to place and movement is now commonplace. You hear it in socio-geographical seminars and TED Talks, at which motivational speakers wow audiences with their ability to receive, to store, to process and recollect memories by employing similar techniques. In 2014, the Nobel Prize for Medicine was awarded for research that unearthed cells that constitute a positioning system in the brain, establishing how closely memory and spatial awareness are intertwined in the hippocampus. The finding confirmed the pairing of place and memory evident in songlines and in the Din Shanachas. There you go. So, as I said, Longford Library System has many copies of this, of 32 words for fields, and particularly in this month as we think of Ireland reads and as more and more people are being encouraged to read, to escape from the confinement that all of us are in through books. It's a perfect opportunity to pick up a book or an online book through Ballymahan Library or just something from the shelf and lose yourself in it. Connemara Slán.